Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a brand new viewer. So if you're like me and you really love gymnastics, I've been following the whole Jordan Chiles bronze medal Romania controversy that sort of ensued beginning on Monday. And now that they've made their final decision, I really want to get into on all of my thoughts. So if you've been living under a rock and you don't know it, the Olympics have been going on for the past 2 weeks. Women's artistic gymnastics finished up the final event on Monday, August the 5th, and the final event was the floor event. So there's a rule in artistic gymnastics where no more than 2 athletes from the same country make it to the qualifying, to the next round, essentially. So for the Americans, there was Simone Biles and there was Jordan Chiles. So for the floor event, everybody had already gone. Jordan was the last person to go. And essentially what happened is Jordan did her floor routine and she got a score of 13.66, which would have put her 5th in the ranking. And there would have been 2 Romanian gymnasts, Ana Barboso and Sabrina Maneka-Vouena, who would have been above Jordan, even though they both have the same score, 13.7. So essentially Jordan would have been 5th. Jordan's coach submitted an inquiry to the judges, and essentially they didn't credit Jordan for a skill that she did do. Not crediting Jordan for this skill bumped her up from her score of 13.66 to 13.77, which put her above the other 2 Romanian gymnasts who had a score of 13.7 even. So this means that Jordan moved into the bronze medal spot and she became the bronze medalist in the women's individual floor routine. Now here's where the issues started. And in my mind, these are all issues that came from the judges and not from any of the gymnasts themselves. The first complaint that was lodged by Romania was that the gymnast who was in 5th place when all of this originally went down, like after Jordan's score was bumped up, Sabrina Maneka-Vouena, her coaches submitted an inquiry because she received a 10th penalty that said she was out of bounds. And because there's cameras everywhere filming these events, the replay does show that she never actually went out of bounds, even though she was very close to the line, never went out of bounds. For some reason, they denied this inquiry, meaning that the penalty still stood. So that's the first mistake that happened. The second mistake is that the judges totally missed giving Jordan credit for a skill. Now, there's actually a rule where you have to file an inquiry within 60 seconds. So you only get 1 minute, I'm assuming, from the time the skill is missed. So even though Jordan's coaches did file an inquiry, it turns out later on, which I'll get into, they filed it about 4 seconds too late. So the judges did miss giving Jordan the credit for that skill, but the US missed the window to properly sort of inquire about that. So there's that. So there's the second mistake that they made. And the way that I feel about this is that, first off, if you take everything into account, right, the fact that Maneka-Vouena should have never been deducted for stepping out of bounds, this would have bumped her up before Ana Barboso. And if Jordan had still been given credit for the skill that she did complete that the judges didn't give her credit for, she would have been true 4th. So it would have been, Sabrina Maneka-Vouena as 3rd and Jordan as true 4th. So taking that into account, essentially what ended up happening is immediately after Jordan was given the bronze, Romania launched another inquiry with let me check my notes. Editing Diamond here. So just a little update. I somehow lost my video footage for the second half of this video, which is pretty much the majority of it. Essentially, I did sort of copy the video from my camera and had no problems. And I had already finished editing this video, and the only thing I was doing a final render before I exported it to YouTube. And I started to have a lot of issues when I was rendering it. And somehow the second part of my video file became corrupted and I tried a couple different things, but there's no way to get it back unless I'm going to pay for it, and I'm just not paying for something that is just like one video file. So hopefully you don't mind. I went in and got some screenshots. I also took some pictures. Some of these things you'll see repetitively. I flipped some things to hopefully avoid any copyright issues. But yeah, sorry, you won't see my face for the rest of the video. So after Jordan won the bronze, Romania was incredibly upset, and their prime minister declared that he would not attend the closing games because of this injustice. Okay, I mean, is you attending the games like a big deal? I don't know. It's just an interesting thing for him to make that assertion like immediately. But essentially, Romania wanted another inquiry with the Court of Arbitration, which I guess is above the judges. And essentially, they weren't having it. They're just like, that's not fair. And not even though like what I mentioned about, her stepping out of bounds, Sabrina Maneka-Vojina was true, that wasn't what was being contended. What was being contended is that the inquiry for Jordan's skill that was missed wasn't filed in enough time. And they ruled that that was correct, that they were 4 seconds short. They didn't file it within a minute. It was filed 64 seconds. So even though Jordan did perform that skill, she's not going to get credit for it, and her original score should be reinstated, which would move Ana Barbosa into third and Sabrina Maneka-Vojina into fourth. And so that being said, once that decision was made, the next part of the process is, okay, well, we've already given Jordan the bronze. She's already had her ceremony. And as far as I know, she's not actually in Paris anymore. So the next thing is, are you going to physically strip Jordan of the bronze medal and give it to Ana Barbosa? Or are you going to allow Jordan to keep it, give a bronze to Ana Barbosa, and technically Sabrina Maneka-Vojina, how are you going to do that, right? So before I kind of explain what they decided to do, I'll just tell you what I would have done. I would have allowed Jordan to keep her bronze, and I would have issued a bronze to both Sabrina Maneka-Vojina and Ana Barbosa, because if you look at it, their scores are the exact same. Like, they're both 13.70. Even though I do feel like Sabrina deserves not to have that penalty deducted, they're not considering that, so the penalty stays. So that being said, they both have the same score, which would mean they both get bronze, right? That's how it works. Or does it not work like that in gymnastics? I don't know, because like when you look at the leaderboard, they have updated Jordan's score to what it originally was, and Ana Barbosa is the only one who's listed as being the bronze medalist. However, again, like I said, Sabrina has the exact same score. So I would have given the bronze medals to both of them and issued a statement, acknowledging the error in the judging system, the error, that gave Sabrina an incorrect penalty, the error that didn't credit Jordan for a skill that she did do originally. And I would have also allowed Jordan to keep the bronze. However, I woke up this morning, and essentially what they decided to do is they decided to agree with the Court of Arbitration's ruling, which is fine, but then they decided to strip Jordan of her actual bronze medal, meaning she has to give it back. I say that because I'm just not buying that they're going to be giving the exact same medal that Jordan had to Ana. So I don't know why she needs to physically give the medal back if you're just going to give Ana a brand new medal, but okay. But yeah, they have stripped Jordan of her bronze. She will have to give the medal back, and she's not a medalist. What a doozy. If I were Jordan, I'd be pretty devastated, right? Because throughout this whole situation, everybody weighs in. That's always how it goes with these things in social media. But I feel like Jordan's been like the poster girl for it, in the sense that people are like vilifying her as if she's this evil American out to steal the bronze medal, and being just incredibly hateful and racist like the world is these days to her in the comments. And yeah, I don't think Jordan, well, sorry, I said I don't think, but Jordan definitely doesn't deserve any of that. She doesn't have any bearing on the scoring system, and she did do the skill in question, so I'm not really sure how people are claiming that she's cheating. because it's not like she didn't do the skill and it was a situation where the judges were like, yeah, we're going to give you credit for that skill that you didn't do. But I feel like there's a lot of things at play in terms of like how people react to things. First off, people don't really like us as Americans. It's just kind of the nature of the game, which I get it. I mean, I'm not saying that every athlete is like this, but we do have a certain air to us in America, especially where athletics is concerned. We tend to have a lot of confidence, some arrogance for some athletes more than others. We also usually have a lot of resources, so we tend to produce a lot of winners and athletes, and we tend to be heavily favored to win in a lot of the events that we compete in. So I can understand people just genuinely not liking the US and just using this as an excuse to like be like, see, stupid Americans thinking that they deserve everything. They don't deserve this. They didn't win it. You know, it's not that I don't understand. Jordan didn't technically win the medal. I get that. But she also didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you're painting Jordan as the person who's stealing the medal away from Romania. And you know that's not how it's going down. You know that she's not sitting there piddling her thumbs and being like, how can I take this medal away from Romania, you know? And I don't think that the Romanian team I don't think that they're racist, but also I have very limited information. I don't know them and I'm not around them. I think that like there's a lot of elements going on. And if I were one of those Romanian gymnasts, I would be really upset too, especially if I felt like, you know, I had a deduction on my score that wasn't warranted, and to miss out on the podium at the last minute, that would be a very upsetting thing. It's a highly emotional thing for both sides of it. And then you have the side of it with Jordan, who's really excited to have won a bronze medal individually as well. So a lot of emotions running high. And I just don't really think the Romanian team is inherently sort of, I don't really think they're racist. I mean, I feel like we certainly throw around the term racist a lot these days and just kind of use that for everything, but you can definitely be like prejudicial and biased without being racist. And I do think that some of the European countries, especially as it relates to gymnastics, they don't always love Americans. Probably because of Simone. I remember this comment that I think she was Italian, but it was a gymnast who was upset in I think it was like a world championship, where essentially Simone had been winning because she does that, and they were like, well, we should paint our skin black so we can win like Simone. And it's like, honey, having black skin isn't going to make you more acrobatic, right? Like, Simone does really difficult tricks, which is why she wins a lot. And I feel like the European style of gymnastics is a lot more almost like dance-like and more like ballet-like, where it's a little bit more about like the graceful movements and not necessarily the most difficult tricks, at least from an outsider's perspective. Whereas Simone in particular is usually about more difficult skills. And I think a lot of the American gymnasts tend to follow suit, probably chasing Simone, but I feel like that's kind of how that went. But yeah, I do think there could be some bias there regarding being the fact that Jordan is a person of color. I don't know if she's fully black. She seems like she's mixed to me, like mixed Hispanic black, but I don't know. But she's definitely a person of color, so that could be a factor in it. But the whole situation has been handled pretty badly in my mind, because Jordan has been totally vilified, and I don't think Romania is like sort of dismissing that, you know what I mean? Like, they're not saying, hey, we're not attacking Jordan, we're just attacking the system and that she was given the score. I feel like to a certain extent they are kind of allowing Jordan to be attacked because it allows them to get what they want, which they do kind of deserve, because, you know, the way it works out, even if Jordan had been credited for that skill, if the other gymnast hadn't been wrongfully deducted, she would be third. So I get that. I just don't agree with like making Jordan out to be this terrible person. And it's a bad situation for the gymnasts around, like, because, you know, I would feel really upset if I was one of those Romanian gymnasts, and I would feel really devastated, you know, being Jordan, being like having to be the center of this thing that you didn't do intentionally, and that's not your fault. And, you know, you were happy to win your own individual medal, because there's a big difference between winning a medal for the team and winning the medal individually, and just to have that taken away. I think that the fact that they're deciding to like strip her medal from her, I hate that choice. It's not that I don't get it. I just feel like it leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth, right? Like if I were Jordan, I would probably be really disillusioned with like wanting to compete in the Olympics. And I don't know if I would want to compete in the 2028 Olympics, even those would be at home. But yeah, I just feel really sorry for all the gymnasts involved. And Jordan, girly, I know you said you were stepping away from social media, and you probably won't see this because I'm a very small YouTuber, but I just want you to know that you are a very talented gymnast. And despite all of this controversy, I have nothing but faith that you will make it to the podium in an individual event on your own merits. You deserve to be at the podium. In this situation, you did sort of get out edged, and through no fault of your own, it sort of ended up in this whole kerfuffle. But I would say to the Romanian gymnasts, specifically like Sabrina Maneka-Văuena, but like Ana Barbosa is kind of like in the middle because she's somehow ahead of Sabrina, even though they have the same score. But what I would say to Sabrina is, I totally understand being upset and angry. You are also a really talented gymnast, and you didn't deserve a penalty for going out of bounds when you clearly didn't, and they have video footage to show that. And I'm genuinely sorry that they also won't take that into consideration in terms of like removing the penalty. I realize that's not fair to you as well, and it's just nobody really wins here. I mean, I guess Romania wins to a certain extent, but to be fair, they did kind of deserve to win in all the situations of it. But like, I don't think the gymnasts surrounding this win. Yeah, that's the whole situation. They made the decision this morning. Jordan will be stripped of the bronze medal, and she'll have to give it to Romania. However that works sort of physically, because just like I said, she's not actually in Paris anymore. So yeah, it's a pretty doozy of a situation. Man, the Olympics has had some real, I don't know about, this is the most controversial thing that I think's happened, but they've definitely had some crazy things going on, from everything that was happening with the Jamaican team in terms of track and field, and having like two of their top dogs drop out of not just one, but like pretty much most of the events that they were competing in. It's been a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Paris it's been kind of messy from what we see in the States. I don't know if that's the whole story, but it's been pretty messy. So yeah, that's the whole controversy in a nutshell. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and that's my time. Bye. Editing Diamond here again. I normally don't pop back in to sort of do voiceover editing, but since I had to kind of do a disclaimer, considering I lost the video footage for the second part of my video, while I was going and getting screenshots to sort of fill out that space, I noticed that there was an update from USA Gymnastics, and I decided to just post the screenshots that I saw. So essentially it says they have video evidence that Jordan's inquiry was submitted in enough time, and the only reason they didn't present this is because they weren't like the footage wasn't available to present when the inquiry, like when they made their decision. So wow, this situation continues to get complicated. Honestly, I feel like the right thing to do, and what I would have done, is like just give them all bronze medals and be done with it. But who knows what's going to happen from here. But this is the latest update as of 22 minutes ago. Okay, that's the end of the video. Bye.